Okay.
Hey guys, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. And for today's video, I wanted to talk about Man of Steel. Personally, I wanted to defend Man of Steel because there's a lot of people that bash this movie, and I think unfairly so. Again, you're all able to have your opinion. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There's a lot of people that flat out hate this movie. They think it's I got a message. They think it's one of the worst movies out there. I don't think that's a fair criticism, but we'll get into that. We'll discuss some of the topics that people have concerns about. So let's get right into it with the whole Planet Krypton. People didn't like Planet Krypton because it was different from the comics. It was different from the 90s show, right? Well, actually, the 90s show was a little different from the comics. And which version of the comics are you going by? Not really sure. That being said, I thought it worked. People complained about too much CG and some of the armor designs, the creature designs. I thought it was very well realized. CG worked fantastically. Jor-El, and I forget her name, but Clark's mom as well. They had great character development for the brief time that they got. We were introduced to Zod, who people also have problems with because they said he's a one-dimensional character. I mean, he's nothing like the Zod from the first movie. Well, yes, but Dark Knight's Joker is not quite the same as the Joker from the first Batman movie. You can have different interpretations of the character. I think Zod worked out really well for this movie. I think his motivations were very clear. I think you see all the emotion, on his face, all the anguish and everything when the planets are destroyed. You get that on his kind of minions, I guess, if you want to call them, but you get it on the other Kryptonian faces, as they're watching Krypton being destroyed and everything, and all that's happening. His character, he doesn't feel like he's doing the wrong thing, and he always tells it straight. He always tells it honest. It doesn't matter what the question is. He's very straightforward, and he believes what he's doing is for the good of Krypton. No matter what it is, he feels like he's doing the right thing, and that's a really good indication of a villain. Plus, you have him showcase a lot of his different strengths, and you see some weaknesses apply to him as well when his mask gets exposed on Earth, and he has all these powers suddenly that start overwhelming him, which we see, happen to Clark when Clark is a kid. So all that really works for me. I think Zod's a very well-established character. I think he's a great villain, and I think overall he just works well. And Michael Shannon, I believe, is the one who plays him. Fantastic job. So all that works for me. Russell Crowe, everything from Krypton works, and I feel like it really helped to establish the movie, to start up the movie. And that's the first time that we've truly got a good look at Krypton in a live action film, and I appreciate that. I appreciate everything that has to go with that. It kept to the certain beats, obviously, with everyone kind of dying except for Clark, being the main one to live, and obviously the villains or what have you. But besides keeping that, it gave us a lot from the atmosphere, the planet, the different kind of economic systems on the planet, the different landscapes, everything, the social structure, everything that got set up on Krypton, I think played out well. A lot of people didn't like Henry Cavill. They thought his character was too mopey, too bland. I think he showcases a lot of character, especially with his talks with Lois or with Ma Kent, which is another great performance from a good character established. And then Pa Kent with Kevin Costner, a lot of people had problems with him and what he said. Here's the thing where I think people get wrapped up. People are like, well, he's condoning kids being murdered because, he has a conversation with Clark about being careful of exposing himself to anybody because, he doesn't know how the world's going to react. The problem I have is that people are saying, well, he's condoning these children to die. He doesn't do that. When Clark asked him, well, what should I do? Should I have let them die? And he said maybe. So he wasn't even sure. Even though he's trying to get the point across of being careful and not always taking that kind of action, like approaching it with caution because of the repercussions of it, he still couldn't condone outright the death of the kid. So I didn't have any problem with that. And it showcases a willingness to protect his son, to wanting to protect his son. And I feel like that all that works. Kevin Costner did such a great performance just because the character is a little different. People get in an uproar. Again, going back to Dark Knight, Joker was different. Two-Face was different. Batman was different. You okay with that? Okay. I don't really get that. I don't understand that. Hulk and the Avengers was different. There's differences that happen. Every time a comic book movie is made to live action, every time a comic book is made, that's not based on a previous series, you're going to have differences. New 52 with DC, there's going to be differences. So if you can't accept that, if you can't accept that this is going to be different than the Christopher Reeves version of Superman, then I get it. I mean, you like that one, that's fine. But you shouldn't just completely hate on the movie and call it a terrible movie. Just that you for personal reasons, you don't like it. I understand that. So there's issues with that. There's a little less issues now with the destruction of Metropolis and everything, which wasn't all Superman's fault. And I say Superman's fault. It didn't all occur with Superman around there. There's a lot of destruction that happened way before he got involved. But they're still addressing that. There's repercussions for that. And I felt like there was going to be from the get-go. So that works for me. I don't really have a problem with that. There's other... again, there's the whole Superman killing Zod thing. First, Superman's killed in the comics. It's happened. He's had to do it. One time he did, and for injustice, he did it out of anger. So it definitely happens. And the fact is, he was forced into this situation. He had no other choice. He reacted to it because that was the only option given. So he didn't have any other way to go. And even after that, you heard his cry. You understand his pain. He didn't want this to happen. He's still established as being the good guy. He's like day 1 or 2 of him having his powers. He hadn't had his powers, he hadn't been established as Superman for very long. He didn't even know how to fly until this movie. Until about a day before everything happened with Zod. He didn't know how to do that. And he's fighting these Kryptonians who are militarily trained. Like, they have this established ability of being able to fight that he doesn't have. And the longer that they're on Earth, the longer they're exposed to that atmosphere, they're going to start to get powers like he did. So, I don't know. For me, all this worked. All this panned out. The action of it looked amazing. Some people say it's too much. I didn't feel that at all. I felt like there was a lot of really good action, a lot of good character development throughout. A little less so for some characters, sure. That's how movies happen. That's how movies work. Some people are going to get just a little short-changed, but I feel like there's overly critical. People overly critical of this movie, but they're not as critical on everything else. That they should have the same criticism for. You should have the same type of criticism for the Dark Knight trilogy as you would for Man of Steel, because that differs from Romero's version way back. Completely different types of Batman. You're going to get that. The character's going to change. If he doesn't change, if you don't have anything different about this character, he's boring, he's bland, it gets old. I mean, when Spider-Man first came in live action, he had the web shooters. Oh wait, no he didn't. He had webs coming out of his arms. That's a difference to the character. Green Goblin was established a little differently. Doc Ock was established a little differently. Like, there's differences to these characters that take place. It's okay. So anyway, I'm going to stop here. That's just a little bit of what I have. I don't want to give everything away because I'm doing a versus matchup and between two movies I really like. But hopefully you enjoyed this vid. If so, click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, and watch my other vids. I do appreciate your face. And until next time, peace.